Here is the Marconi Mark VIII fully automatic camera. It has facilities for automatic registration, colour balance and very useful diagnostic facilities. Switch the camera on, and the first to appear on the monitor are the diagnostic signals from the CCU, followed by the diagnostic signals from the camera head. This is the actual output of the CCU, with the white squares and the green, red and blue squares, and the ones from the cameras. Each square represents the injection of a signal at a different point in the video amplifier chain, and this is the camera power switched on. The white squares represent a voltage measurement at different points in the system, and this is fully described on the card, which is kept in a little space underneath the CCU pull-out drawer. On the card there is a full description of the injection points and the boards involved, so that quick diagnostic can be obtained and replacement of any faulty boards. This is the switch in the CCU which operates it. The other position of the switch is the dioscope, which is switched in and enables the setting of the beams. First to be adjusted is the green beam current. It is important it is adjusted accurately to discharge the white portions of the picture, but not too much current, as this leads to difficulties in registration later on. Here's the green being adjusted, and you can see that it is adjusted to fully discharge the white portions of the dioscope picture, followed by the red. There it goes, and setting again to discharge the white portions of the red picture. Next is the blue, and this is adjusted in the same way, and when we're satisfied with this, we can see that there is a proper white triangles. The next stage in the lineup is to adjust the picture size, and this controls affect the green channel, but first we do the beam focus to get the maximum resolution on the picture. Then the sizes, the horizontal and vertical are adjusted. There's the horizontal shift and the horizontal size, followed by the vertical shift and the vertical size. These are adjusted to put the small marks, the index marks, on the edge of the picture, so that it is just half showing. When this process is finished and adjusted satisfactorily, we can move on to the sequential lineup. The auto balance happens first, but we will return to that later. This is followed by the alignment of the beams in the camera. In the camera itself there are the potentiometers driven by motors for the beam alignment positions, and first the camera will do the green, and we see here the adjustment of the motors turning the potentiometers. The traditional focus rock waveform is used, and the logic is looking for no movement at the top left hand corner of the center square. Next in the process is the red beam alignment, done in exactly the same way, and the indicator has moved on, and finally the blue is done. And here we see the blue motors searching for the correct position. After this process is finished, the camera will do the automatic registration, and the white triangles are used in this part of the process, and the logic will adjust the motors to bring them all into coincidence. The red and the blue are compared with the green. It is quite interesting that if you disturb the process, the logic will put it back. It's quite amusing to watch. Nearly there, just the red to pull in, and we see now that it's adjusting the red skew. All this is done entirely in hard TTL logic. There's no microprocessor involved at all. It's really very clever, and there it's finished. We can also inject a sawtooth into the CCU input, and there it is. It's very useful for checking the gains. Or we can inject the sawtooth into the camera head. Again, another useful test. If we uncap the camera, we can see the picture now. And next on the adjustment agenda is the white balance. If we search around for a suitable white object to use, these flowers will do nicely, as I know that they're white. In BBC practice, a white polystyrene cup is often favourite. And we press the colour balance button, and a little rectangle appears in the viewfinder to help us frame the white object. And the first thing that happens is that the camera goes into auto iris mode to set the green level correctly. It will then adjust the red and blue gains to match. And we see here the motors moving the potentiometers, and it's a nice white level has been achieved. And when we look back at the motors, we'll see that they're trembling, and in a short while there it's finished. We now look at the scene to see if we're happy with the result. And as we pan round, we see that a satisfactory balance has been achieved. We go back to the diascope now, and we can adjust the black level. There's the black level of the individual colours being adjusted, and there's the picture monitor, and we see the adjustment of them to achieve a neutral dark grey of the picture. Uncap again and view the results. Now here there is too much light entering the camera, so we can switch a darker filter in to compensate for this. There we go. There are three filters available, normally stepped as neutral density, although it is possible to put a star filter in one of them. And the adjustment of the iris control to achieve a satisfactory exposure is next, an adjustment of the black level to be just right. That's the auto iris button, and it's very useful in a standby on monitoring position. Operationally, most engineers prefer to adjust the iris manually to achieve the best result. And there's the iris pot being whizzed around to compensate for a change in light level. You can see here that the auto iris is compensating for the different scene brightnesses. This is the aperture control, which varies the amount of sharpness that the auto aperture puts in. It's a subjective setting to give a pleasing picture. If too much is put in, the edges ring and can be noisy, and too little, the picture looks soft. And here we have the adjustment of the colour balance trim controls. This is an extreme adjustment. Normally you just touch them a little bit to bring it in so that all the cameras look the same. Really quite powerful controls. Each of the three colours can be selected to the monitor individually. And as you see, the different luminance values of the red flowers. It's interesting to observe. Dynamic centering is used operationally during program time, and if there is a suitable object in the field of view, the camera will correct for any small errors in the registration, the centering. Here I've maladjusted the horizontal centering, and you see that the automatic circuits put it back to the correct position. It does rely on there being something suitable in the field of view for the automatics to take hold of. If there's nothing, no suitable edges, it won't work. And of course it can be confused if the picture contains unsuitable edges of different colours, so it has to be used with a degree of care. This operates on the red and the blue channels, the green of course being manually set to be centered in the picture.
Přispívala k vynikajícím kvalitativním parametrům obrazu a celkově k vynikající stabilitě kamery, a to i během mnoha hodinových natáčecích frekvencích v extrémních podmínkách. Není proto divu, že kamera Marconi Mark VIII sloužila od doby svého vzniku v roce 1971 více než čtvrt století, bezmála 30 let, a byla televizními techniky velmi oblíbena. A pro dnešní fandy a sběratele této historické techniky je kamera Mark VIII opravdovým pojmem.